We've got Patrice Onwuka. She is with the Independent Women's Forum. Patrice, you there?
I am. How are you, Carrie?
Hi, good morning, Patrice. Great to have you.
Thank you.
Hi, Patrice. So, Pete Davidson, he's the SNL guy who just broke up with Ariana Grande. I've been following that story.
Oh, wow, I had no idea.
I love celebrity gossip, unfortunately.
Wait, did she break up with him because of what he did?
No, but
okay.
I guess he made a comment, I think jokes are jokes, but he made a comment on SNL about Representative Dan Crenshaw, incoming representative, a former Navy SEAL, and incoming, congressman because of his need to wear an eye patch. But it is the apology that seems to be making headlines. We have a short clip of the apology, and then we'd love to hear your comments on it.
I mean this from the bottom of my heart. It was a poor choice of words. The man is a war hero, and he deserves all the respect in the world. And if any good came of this, maybe it was that for one day, the left and the right finally came together to agree on something. That I'm a dick.
You think?
Lieutenant Commander Dave Crenshaw, everyone, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for making a Republican look good.
You gotta stop saying that, man. You've been saying it all day. Please, look, I just wanted to say, for people that don't know, the reason you're wearing an eye patch right now is that you lost your eye to an IED in Afghanistan during your 3rd combat tour. And I'm sorry.
Thank you, Pete. I appreciate you saying that.
So we good?
We're good. Apology accepted.
Just keep breathing.
It sounds like my phone's ringing.
You gonna answer that?
No, I was just going to let it ring because that's rude to answer. Let's just let it go to voicemail.
No, it's cool. Ariana Grande. Well, cool, man. Yeah.
What? Oh, do you know her?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was great. And Crenshaw did a great job of, holding his own on SNL. That's hard to do. That's really hard to do.
Yeah, Patrice, what were your thoughts?
I think that it was great in that you saw their natural jovialness come out. It's unfortunately very often when jokes are made, and Pete Davidson's joke was distasteful and out of order. But sometimes it flames such a fan of outrage that the initial wrongdoing is forgotten, and people run to their sides and opposing sides instead of saying, okay, all right, let's have an apology, and then let's figure out how we can move forward as individuals, but also as Americans. And I think that's what the highlight of the story was. I mean, I don't know if you guys caught it, but Dan Crenshaw actually penned an op-ed in the Washington Post where he said, you know what, I actually did not demand an apology because I didn't want to fan those flames of outrage that very often occur whenever there is a distasteful joke or a comment. And so I think this was a really great opportunity for both of them to demonstrate how, somebody can put their foot in their mouth, literally, but still, at the end of the day, you recognize that you are two individuals who may have two different points of view and still be able to come together and have a good laugh. And that diffused a lot of the anger that could have erupted out of this.
Yeah, no, like they say, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. So the fact that he didn't try to do the outrage game, to twist out an apology that might not have been heartfelt, I think was a wise move.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I mean, when we look at SNL, conservatives are very often the butt of many jokes on that show, and unfortunately, I think it's lost its appeal to a lot of different voters out there. This could be an opportunity for them to say, you know what, maybe we need to figure out how we can, joke at the expense of Republicans and Democrats, but do so in a way that brings people together, that recognizes just because we have political differences doesn't mean that we are that we should brandish each other with these quote unquote isms, the sexist, they're misogynistic or racism or sexist or xenophobic just because you don't agree with someone's ideology or their policy positions. And so I think this was a really good opportunity to highlight that. And it was refreshing to see. And it came on Veterans Weekend, which is a very important time to still recognize that veterans make huge sacrifices, and really, we still don't need to make fun of the sacrifices that they make. We should actually be celebrating those.
So I'm just curious about your reaction to the fact that the right often considers the left of being snowflakes, but there was a lot of outrage about this joke in particular. One 15-second moment on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, it's true. The right definitely tends to brand to say the left are snowflakes, and probably there may be some truth to it. There may be that may be overdone as well. That may be that kind of that thaw outrage that we were talking about earlier. But I think the difference here is when you're making a joke about someone who has been injured because they put their life on the line for this country. That, I think, was the difference with this joke. And while Dan Crenshaw did not need an apology, I think it was very much merited in this situation.
Yes. Well, and what about, I think, yes, the snowflake point is fair. But I want to talk about veterans in general, because I feel like that the way we treat veterans, who, in my opinion, are the real heroes, they're often, and it was the same with, in Vietnam, where the Ivy Leagues banned recruiting because the Ivy League elite professors who hadn't served a day in their lives didn't want to have the endorsement of the war on their campuses. But these are men and women who are just serving the country. It's not about having a political agenda for them. And just the way that so many elite establishment people treat the military versus how they treat sports figures, or Ariana Grande, where the celebrities are people who just entertain us, and the heroes are often mocked and rejected.
Well, what a shift, Carrie, from where we were probably 50, 60 years ago, especially coming out of post-World War II. The fact that we did celebrate heroes, people who served in the military, they were held in high esteem, and how it's reversed now to, sports stars who, have criminal records and do some pretty heinous things, and celebrities. And there's this idea that if you serve in war because you don't agree with the war, then you have to disparage anyone who's connected to it. I think we need to remember that serving your country, whether you're serving in the military or, frankly, if you're serving in public service, as a civil servant, or an elected official, those are two different things. You are supporting the nation, regardless of what party is in power, regardless of what your philosophical orientation or your ideology is. This is about the nation as a whole. And so I do hope that we return to a time where we recognize that people who give up their time with their family, who lose body parts and limbs, who put their life on the line for our freedoms, need to be celebrated, regardless of whether or not you agree with the war that takes them away from their families.
All right, Patrice Onwuka, we're going to leave it right there. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, ladies. Good to see you.